Hey guys, Hot Take Tuesday is a fun little weekly segment where I give quick, controversial opinions or observations on movies and TV shows. I try to make them funny. I try. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Here's a compilation of all the hot takes I did in 2023. See you in 2024. Hot Take Tuesday! G.I. Joe Retaliation screwed the whole series and was a garbage movie. Yeah, I know The Rock's in it. My statement still stands. Channing Tatum, who played the main character in the first one, was killed off in like 5 seconds. And they didn't even bring back Marlon Wayans, who brought comic relief and a whole vibe. Ugh. Hot Take Tuesday! The 2013 movie Hansel and Gretel is underrated and does not get the respect that it truly deserves. Jeremy Renner and Gemma Arterton did a bang-up job as the siblings. They had a really cool backstory with an awesome twist. The makeup was stellar and they had a lot of cool practical effects. I'm an 80s baby, so I really appreciate that. Hot Take Tuesday! Paul Blart Mall Cop should never have gotten a sequel. Honestly, I don't even know how I got greenlit for the first one. I know it's supposed to be campy and family friendly, but this movie was really corny. I like Kevin James, but this ain't it. Spoiler alert, I never saw the sequel. Hot Take Tuesday! Pinocchio is just about an annoying puppet and his annoying cricket getting on my nerves for an hour and 30 minutes. I was rooting for the villains the whole time. Did we really need a live action remake? Okay, I liked Del Toro's version, but it's Del Toro. Hot Take Tuesday! Let's talk about the disrespect they giving my girl Jennifer in Peppermint. 13% on Rotten Tomatoes? Really? I had a whole family that got gunned down by some drug lords or whatever. She went AWOL, got buff, and came back for that ass. And my girl was getting John McClane first Die Hard level type wounds. Alright? She was not unscathed. And the fights were awesome, the story was awesome, the character was awesome. Yo, why? Where's the love? Is it because of the wig? Because that short hair, yeah, it was kind of rough. Yeah, that's probably where the 13% came from. Yeah. Hot Take Tuesday! Today I'm going to share with you guys my top 3 favorite movies of all time and why everyone should watch them. Gonna start off number 3 with The Last Dragon. You've heard of Bruce Lee? Well, this was Bruce Leroy holding down Harlem. And that villain, Sho'nuff, that was a character for real. If you don't know the line, I would like to peel this banana. You're missing out. Going with Willow for my number 2 pick. Before Hobbits, before Rings, we had my boy Willow on the scene in one of the most epic adventures ever. Witches and elves and trolls and all kind of stuff. And for my number 1 pick, Terminator 2. Arnold was a true badass. And everything that I needed to know about AI, Terminator 2 taught me. Which is, don't trust it. Like, what are we doing, guys? What are some of your favorite movies of all time? Let me know. Hot Take Tuesday! I'm happy for all the Oscar wins. Except for one. There was one category that I felt missed the mark. All the nominees were talented. But one really stood out. If we're being honest, this person should have gotten an Oscar a long time ago for any one of these. Creed 3 was a good movie, but it could have been a great movie. I'm only talking about the movie and the characters, nothing outside of that. The first 2/3 of the movie were spent talking about like the characters, the cast was wonderful and what they're going through and things like that. However, Jonathan Majors' deceit, which we kind of all knew about, didn't really come out until way, way late in the game. And by then, it was like, boom, bam, bum, done. The fight scene was amazing. And the cinematography, oh, so creative, so clever. Love it. But there was no real momentum building up to this fight like you had in all the rest of the series. So it kind of knocked it down a few pegs for me. Hot Take Tuesday! The 80s movie Tango and Cash was instrumental in ushering in the buddy cop comedy era. Lethal Weapon started it, of course, but Tango and Cash played their part. You have 2 cops who don't like each other, One is polished, manicured, and comes from money. The other one is the opposite of that. They both get framed and get thrown in prison with guys that they put away, like this. And, I mean, the story writes itself, honestly. As expected, they work together and get revenge on all the bad guys. And yes, that's a grenade in this man's mouth. This movie taught me the real meaning of FUBAR. Today we have the other guys and bad boys. I'll always remember Tango and Cash and how they didn't get a sequel. What was that about, 80s? I didn't forget about Beverly Hills Cop, guys. I just don't have time to name them all. Hot Take Tuesday! I can't believe we only got one Commando movie. In Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays John Matrix. You know, your average retired special forces guy who just spends his days walking around carrying logs. He's a widower and a single dad trying to just spend time with his daughter who he missed because of all those, missions. But it's the 80s, and if you look like this, stuff's about to go south real quickly. An unemployed dictator kidnaps his daughter, gets one of his henchmen here. This guy you needed for every starter pack in the 80s. You kidnapped my child? Oh, you gotta go. And he gets up with the stewardess, the 80s guys, flight attendant, to run through all the bad guys. He rescues his daughter, Alyssa Milano, and the government's like, oh my gosh, John, you want to come back and work for us? We can get more over-the-top, crazy gun-filled missions that don't require you wearing any shirts. And they were like, nah, we good. And they meant that shit, because we ain't seen no sequel since. Hot Take Tuesday! I don't think the 2013 action movie Two Guns with Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington gets talked about enough. In the movie, they're members of like a drug cartel gang, and they pull off a bank heist. Well, just the two of them. But here's the kicker. They're both undercover agents, but didn't know that the other one was undercover. One's DEA, one's Navy intelligence. But the plot thickens. You guessed it. The bank heist was a setup. So now they gotta work together to clear their names. And that's when the real fun begins. The chemistry between these two guys was comedic gold. I know what you're thinking. Isn't this just Tango and Cash without the prison time? Yes. Yes, it is. What's your point? Hot Take Tuesday! Let's talk about the problem I have with the casting of the new Little Mermaid movie. And I'm not talking about Ariel. I'm talking about the one and only Ursula. See how we twinning? See what I did there? For those that don't know, Ursula's whole design and aesthetic was based on the American actor and drag queen Divine from back in the day. She was voiced by the actress Pat Carroll. May she rest in peace. And Carroll brought it, okay? That gravelly, seasoned voice stole every scene. Every scene. Unpopular opinion. Ursula's songs were cooler. Melissa McCarthy nails the look in the trailer, but she has some big shoes to fill. That voice has got to hit. Hopefully this is better than the live action version of The Lion King. Don't think I forgot Disney. Hot Take Tuesday. Guardians of the Galaxy is the second best trilogy in the Marvel Universe. They came out of nowhere in 2014 and introduced us to a literal team of misfits. The second movie complemented the first one and gave us more backstory about Star-Lord, endearing us to him even more. Fast forward to Volume 3 and I am blown away by how these characters have matured. I mean, this journey is by far the most emotional. Someone I follow said that because this one was about saving a friend versus saving the world, it made it more refreshing and less predictable. This was perfect timing because I was starting to get fatigued. If you're done with the Marvel Universe, make an exception. Check out this funny, heart-wrenching conclusion to this version of the Guardians. Plus the music? Yeah. I bet you're wondering who's got the number one spot for best trilogy in the series. I'll just leave this here and y'all let me know if y'all agree. Hot Take Tuesday! The TV series From is not getting enough attention. My horror people, how am I just not hearing about this show? To sum it up quickly, there's, I guess you can call him a sheriff of this little town that is not on the map. This place somehow traps people who are traveling all across the country to this one spot that they can't leave. They try to get out of there, but it's one big loop. That's not even the worst part. This place also has creatures that look like humans that come out that just like devour people if you're not like carefully hidden or protecting yourself. And it gets worse. The place itself messes with the people there. It gets inside their mind and tricks them and has them see things and do things. It's a trip, but boy is it good. One disclaimer. It gets pretty graphic, so if you don't got the stomach for that, don't watch it. Hot Take Tuesday. The Fast and the Furious is forever. At this point, it's damn near a superhero franchise. They went to space. Space with a car. The origin story was them stealing DVDs. So, they've come a long way. They brought characters back from the dead. Okay? At least twice. The villains keep getting bigger and badder. The action never disappoints. And the movies make bank at the box office. You think they're going to retire? They are already setting up for the next generation to take over. Alright? The final movie is being split up into another trilogy. And there's like a spinoff. So if you hate this franchise, sorry for you. It ain't going nowhere. Hot Take Tuesday. One of the most important lessons I learned in life came from The Little Mermaid. We all know about Ariel's dad, King Triton, ruler of the seas and the oceans. Really powerful dude. Like, he was more powerful than Ursula the Sea Witch, okay? And even he could not get out of a legally bound contract. At 7 or 8 years old, I learned, thanks to Ariel, you gotta be careful what you put your name on. Like, for real. Don't be sleeping on these cartoon movies, y'all. They got some life lessons in there. Pay attention. Hot Take Tuesday. Spider-Man Across the Universe is the best Spider-Man film, hands down. Okay, this may be more of a no duh than it is a hot take. No spoilers. We get to dive more into Spider-Gwen, her character, and what's going on with her. And everyone loves a convoluted love story. Which, no, this has got one. The villains are just as fun as Spider-Man. Y'all remember that crazy, awesome shot from the first movie when he was jumping into the city upside down? Imagine a movie full of those kind of awesome shots. Miles Morales has such an interesting, dynamic personality, style. Hey, I love my OG Spider-Man, alright? I stand by them. But he is the best Spider-Man. And that is my hot take. Hot Take Tuesday! Can we just stop and acknowledge how amazing Season 6 of Black Mirror has been? If we're being honest, Season 5 was the weakest in the whole series. They did not come to play this season, guys. They hitting everything. AI and the entertainment industry, our obsession with celebrities, their personal lives, and gossip and all that craziness. Our obsessions with documentaries on serial killers and the horrific underbelly of mankind. They even have this very dark story about human emotions and technology intertwining and how that could go bad very fast. If you were disappointed with last season, trust me, they make up for it. Check it out, guys. Hot Take Tuesday. The new Transformers Rise of the Beast movie didn't suck. We had some fun new characters. I liked these people. I could see myself hanging out with these people. I totally related to how they responded to some of these situations. My new favorite is Mirage, so good job, Pete Davidson. No offense, Bumblebee. He's still the dude, but Mirage kind of killed it. Let me be clear, I went in with very low expectations, so it wasn't hard for the movie to rise above that. Now, what won me over was number one, the setting, 1994. I'm a 90s kid. You got me. Number two was the music. Oh man, they was doing all the hits. And you already know whenever you play Biggie, oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They had me. Well played, Transformers. Well played. Hot Take Tuesday. Sound of Freedom is that movie. It is based on the true story of Tim Ballard, who was a U.S. Department of Homeland Security agent who would investigate people. So after rescuing a boy from human, he comes to find out that the boy's sister is still trapped in that world and decides to make it his mission to find her. Not gonna front, the movie's a bit heavy on the heartstrings, because it is a sensitive subject and this is a true story and it is a real problem that we have. But the way it's told, the cinematography, the acting, Tim Ballard is played by Jim Caviezel, who was able to really encompass the heart this man had and then to go on this mission to rescue these children. I don't know where they found these child actors, but man, cream of the crop. Y'all remember when they lightly touched on it in Taken? Prepare for a deep dive. Honestly, everybody should watch this movie. Hot Take Tuesday! Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a masterclass on sequels. With Mission Impossible, almost every movie is better than the last. Where does that happen? The gang is all back for this one, with some new players. The former Peggy Carter slides into the franchise with ease and brings new excitement and mischief with her. The stunts are even bigger. Apparently, Tom Cruise will not stop pushing the limits until he goes down in a blaze of cinematic glory. And as cool as it is, having a villain who made good arguments and had justifiable motives, it's nice to just have villains who are bad for the hell of it. The mission is still to obtain the MacGuffin and keep it out of the wrong hands, but they still find a way to raise the stakes on that. Studio executives, give them what they want. I need part 2. Hot Take Tuesday. The Flash movie was... I'm having a little trouble here. Let me explain why. The first act was weak. Ezra Miller was kind of unbearable. Just wasn't hitting it for me. And the CGI was bad. But then comes the second act, and Flash meets his younger self, and this is where the movie starts to pull me in. And then we got Michael Keaton, the original OG from me, stealing the whole show like we knew he would. Do y'all see this? That team up of both Flashes fighting Zod's army? One of the best scenes. Did I cry when he said goodbye to his mother? I don't think it's any of your business. Bottom line, weak beginning, strong middle, a little rough landing. I see why people are split. Hot Take Tuesday. Puss in Boots: Last Wish kicked the butt of every children's animated movie released in the last 5 years. Okay, there's like 1 or 2 exceptions. Puss had a sidekick who was cute, funny, not annoying, and important to the story. This movie had 3 levels of villains. The villain who is not as cold as they think they are and actually manages to change and help the hero. The villain who's heartless and unredeemable, but still funny. And a villain so chilling you're not entirely sure they should be in a children's movie. I mean, the last time I was this anxious was when I saw The Other Mother in Coraline. Most kids' movies have a couple lessons and elements. This had several. There's an actual panic attack in this movie. Hot Take Tuesday! The 2017 version of It is the best horror adaptation of a Stephen King novel. Clowns are on the list of the top 10 scariest things ever. I looked it up. And this one has super evil powers. Plus you have children, considered the most helpless ones in a situation of distress. And you're trapped in a small town, which is super scary. The casting and the acting were superb. Everyone brought their A game. Plus the way this movie was shot, edited, scored, the colors, the shadows, the angles, top notch. The best adaptation. I said what I said. You got a better argument? Hot Take Tuesday! The 1981 romantic comedy Arthur holds up to this day. Mostly. Although I'd call it more of a comedy than a romance. I feel like the movie is more about Arthur growing up and maturing as a man than it is about him falling in love, although love is the conduit. In the beginning, this millionaire playboy is a bit much, but by the end, you're rooting for the guy. There are a couple minor things that might not go over well today, but I mean, it's an 80s movie. Come on. He does have a little bit of a drinking problem that he needs to address, and I'm not really crazy about him proposing to the woman that he loves while being drunk. But all in all, the man has a heart of gold. Hot Take Tuesday! The 2023 UK film Rye Lane is a young, fresh, fun take on the tired tropes of rom-coms, and more people need to see it. The story follows two young people who are dealing with bad breakups, all while connecting with each other. The meet cute is technically in a bathroom, so yeah, I'm invested. The banter is really smart, fun, and witty, and there are scenes that had me screaming with laughter. And the director, Rain Allen Miller, I need more from her. Plus the writing duo of Nathan Byron and Tom Malia, they wrote such well-rounded, real, interesting characters. Can I just say that Yaz's wardrobe is what I strive to have as my aesthetic? No knock on Old Faithfuls, but it's been a while since I enjoyed a good UK rom-com. Hot Take Tuesday! The movie They Cloned Tyrone is so well done and funny, it deserved more than a Netflix release. It should have been in theaters. Basically, a drug dealer, a pimp, and a lady of the night team up to uncover some huge conspiracy happening in their neighborhood. We're talking experiments, clones, mind control, the whole 9 yards. This blaxploitation film takes all the elements that are portrayed about living in the hood and turns them on the head with a comedic twist. Jamie Foxx was the breakout for me. This man was so hilarious, I thought I was watching a throwback episode of A Living Color. Some of the messaging hit you over the head, but I think it's done on purpose and adds to the comedy. Hot Take Tuesday! The 2010 movie Predators would have been a classic if it wasn't for two bad casting choices. I'll give you a hint who they are. All the good ideas were there. Elite individuals, soldiers, cartel members, at the top of their game, dropped off the middle of an alien planet to be hunted by predators. Great tension, great traps, great on-screen mayhem. The predators look cool. But your lead tough guy is Adrian Brody from The Pianist. Definitely bulked up for the part. But he just didn't have that je ne sais quoi like Arnold. And Eric from That 70s Show was your bad guy twist. The dude that kept needing to be saved. The Lawrence Fishburne cameo was a nice touch. Hot Take Tuesday! Spiral was a good movie. It just wasn't a Saw movie. They should have just called it Lethal Weapon 5. I'm not saying Chris Rock can't do drama. Look at New Jack City, which he does reference in this movie. But I don't think horror is his thing. It felt like half of Chris's dialogue was just him doing stand-up. I mean, the commentary was funny, but out of place for this movie. Even some of the music didn't match well with the vibe they were trying to go for. I just couldn't take Chris Rock's serious face seriously. I'm sorry. The deaths were creative, and the killer had a really good motive. But I was never on edge. It just wasn't scary. Am I wrong? Maybe? What? Hot Take Tuesday! Elemental is a vanilla movie that really needed a villain. Don't get me wrong, it had some great plot points. A family of immigrants adapting to a new world and experiencing racism, elementism, the pressure of following in your parents' footsteps, the disparities of classism, and the love story of two individuals from different cultural backgrounds coming together. But there were no real stakes, and you didn't feel any tension that a good villain could provide. And don't come at me about it being a children's movie, because a good antagonist is just as important as a good protagonist. Some examples to back me up. Hashtag bring back the villains. Hot Take Tuesday! The 1984 film The Toxic Avenger is over-the-top campy horror 80s nonsense. Basically, a nerd falls into a vat of sewage and becomes a superhero to his town. Can a movie be 280s? Yes. Yes, it can. First, we've got the language, and I'm not just talking about curse words. I'd give you an example, but then this video would get flagged. Then you've got some crazy deaths that they pull off using practical effects. Lots of scenes with lots of skin. We're talking nuclear levels of villainy, okay? An old lady gets beat up, a boy and a dog get unalive. I'm trying to keep this video at a PG rating, guys. Just know that this movie is ridiculous and they didn't hold back. Hot Take Tuesday! Creed is the perfect example of how you hand off a franchise to the next generation. You have an awesome connection between the new character and an old one. For those that don't know, This is Adonis, and this is his late father, Apollo. The rough beginnings and backstory of Adonis Creed endear you to him. Plus, you bring in a legacy main character to come and train him? I'ma keep it a buck. When I first heard that they were making a Creed movie, I was like, nah, I'm good. If it fails, it fails. I think Creed 3 has been the weakest so far, which I have discussed in a previous hot take. Hot Take Tuesday! The 1997 horror mystery film Cube is basically Saw, before there was Saw. We have characters who wake up trapped inside a maze with no idea how they got there. There are rooms with various traps designed to kill in very graphic ways. There is a way to get out alive, but they have to figure out how the whole place is rigged. One of them was even hired to design part of the maze. You know, like a game. Any of this sounding familiar? Things go off the rails pretty quickly. You gotta watch this film. Hot Take Tuesday! The 2023 drama, The Burial, is the movie that we all need to be watching right now. Not just because you've got the talented Jamie Foxx doing his thing. Not just because Johnny Smollett is a worthy adversary. Not just because Tommy Lee Jones is going to win you over regardless. Not even because the movie is endearing and funny and layered. There's much more going on than you think. We should all be watching it because it is a great story. Inspired by a true story about a small family business going up against a behemoth corporation. And I think we're all pretty tired of corporations winning right now. Hot Take Tuesday! If you strip away the psychopathic tendencies, there are some great life lessons in the 2014 thriller Gone Girl. I know it's mainly about a husband who is charged with his wife's murder, but there are teachable moments here. For instance, you should always have life insurance because you just never know. Never stop dating your spouse. Complacency can ruin a relationship. Always ask for a lawyer, even when you're innocent. Find a partner who's going to elevate and challenge you in life or prison. Cherish those you love because you never know how long you have with them or what they're capable of. Financial problems can put a lot of stress on a marriage, so always keep your eye on the bank account and check your credit card statements. Anything can be accomplished by a well-executed plan. Hot Take Tuesday! Eli Roth's 2023 thriller, Thanksgiving, is not grounded in reality. I'm not talking about the fact that the killer walks around in a pilgrim outfit without being noticed. I am not talking about the fact that the killer is able to carry a body up a building and put it on a sign. Nor the fact that the killer is able to chop off a head with an axe wearing a mask clean off in midair with one swipe. I'm not even tripping out over the fact that the killer's phone can't be traced. No, the most unbelievable thing about this movie is that a crowd of people rushed the store at midnight for Black Friday deals. Please. We all know Black Friday deals haven't been mob-worthy since 2015. Nice try, Eli. Hot Take Tuesday! Scream 6 just proves that the series needs to be stopped. Don't get me wrong, I love a good sequel. Scream 3 and 4, they were fun sequels. Scream 2 was okay. When the killers was super obvious, I called it immediately. But Scream 5 is where the decline really started. They desecrated an OG love story and killed off a lovable character. So Scream 6 already started in the red, having to pay for the sins of Scream 5. And if that wasn't bad enough, you don't even have Neve Campbell. Ghostface uses a gun. The killer reveal and motives are dumb. And I just can't be bothered to care anymore. I know some of y'all really love this new direction, so maybe you can change my mind. Hot Take Tuesday! The adult animated show Invincible is helping to keep my superhero fatigue at bay. Don't get me wrong, I love Marvel. Phases 1 through 3. And 30% of Phase 4. Now I know the Marvel audience is kid-friendly and has to stay within PG-13. But having a show where superheroes and characters are complex and make mistakes with real consequences, and a crazy amount of gore showing the damage superpowered people could actually really do, it's kind of a nice break. And it's not the only show of its kind either.